So there are several stretches you can do for iliotibial band syndrome. The iliotibial band goes from the ilium up here down to the tibia, thus iliotibial. It's a tight band of tissue that helps put together or hold together the muscles in the front with the muscles in the back. That's why it's inherently important that if you go online, you'll find a whole bunch of exercises that work to stretch the iliotibial band in a gentle way. There are also some activities where you use foam rollers. You lie on the foam roller and you just die in pain, if you ask me. But they do work for stretching out the tissue. There are a couple favorites that I do that usually can be likened to yoga poses. This is one where you take your foot, place it on the outside of the opposite knee, and you try to sit up with both sit bones on the ground. That's the ischiums. You sit up straight, and if you can, bring the knee towards your left shoulder, the opposite shoulder. If you can still get a little bit more and want to go more advanced, then you turn into it and also include a low back stretch as well. Some people would say, well, you're only working on the iliotibial band. Why do you have to include the low back? It's because everything is related, and I'll tell you why later. So you hold, like all my other videos, for a count of 5 breaths. Every breath in, you try to sit up straight. The imaginary line from your root to your crown, or from the sit bones to the top of your head, stays somewhat straight. And you turn with exhale. Inhale straight up again, turn with exhale for 5 breaths. You should be able to feel a stretch to the outside. Some people will feel a little burn up here. Some people will feel a burn down here in the piriformis muscle. As long as you do it properly, you'll be able to get a stretch. Even if you don't just stretch the iliotibial band, you'll stretch the lumbars, the obliques, a little bit of the muscles that hold the hip together, and I'll put a link to my hip stretches. And then you always have to do the opposite side. One side will always be looser than the other. If you can't wrap your knee with the crease of your elbow, then just hold it like this. You can always just push and hold straight. And if you are not that flexible, sitting up straight, both sit bones on the ground. Again, imaginary line from the root to your crown being somewhat straight. Just pull the knee in a little bit so it doesn't hurt and your foot stays on the ground. Just pull a little bit so that you can feel a stretch. And you hold it for 5 breaths. Remember, the breaths are 4 seconds in, 7 seconds of a gentle hold, 8 seconds out. And I'm not doing this to fool you guys into meditating. I'm just doing it because I want you to hold for the count. Usually by about 5 breaths in and out, the muscle has let go. And if not, then you do it 3 more times. The other thing to do is a figure 4, where I have this in my hip video. I'll lie back for this one. You lie back and you reach between the knees and you pull. When you pull the knee close, it also stretches out the muscles of the glute, the outside hamstrings, and then the iliotibial band. So slow, deep breaths, holding in. If you want to add the crunch to it by lifting the head up, that's fine. If you want to relax the head, that's fine too. But you hold it for a count, and if you can pull tighter with every inhale, and just relax a bit with every exhale, that'll be perfect. Start with the other side. Again, reach through, hold. If you can't grab, some of my more advanced folks can actually reach around. If you can't grab, that's okay. Just try to pull in as best as possible. Whether you can get the ankle, the knee, or the other foot. Sometimes you'll have to do it seated, and that's all we can do. You just start in this position and lean into it. If you have to shimmy back a little bit, prop yourself up. You can also lean into it until you feel a stretch to your glute muscle, piriformis muscle, IT band muscle. The idea again is to hold to everybody gets into the stretching exercises at a different level. So even if you're not a weathered yogi, you can still start your own stretching program. It's all up to what you feel. That's why it's nice to hire an exercise physiologist or a physical therapist, because they'll show you the proper techniques for your certain body type. Other possibilities are knee down twists, where you lie down bring your knees up, 90 degrees at the ankle, at the knee, at the hip, and you slowly lower to one side. When the knees are touched, I like to bring the arm the opposite direction, so shoulder eventually hits the ground, and arm hits the ground, without raising the knees up too high. Deep breath in, exhale. I feel more of it here, but I can get the stretch in my IT band. For an extra challenge, take the leg, hold it straight out. Sometimes I like to hold on the outside, and lower down the leg till it touches, and then bring the shoulder down. Again, keeping the bottom leg straight. Hopefully this is about 90 degrees, and then relax. That's a great stretch for the IT band. Don't forget the other side. And there's always the other attached muscles. The other attached muscles would be the quad and the hamstrings. The easiest thing for the hamstrings would be starting in staff position or sitting up straight, about a figure 90 degree angle, and then slowly bending forward, just like my other videos have shown for forward fold. You can do it standing up or seated. Seated is easier. If you can get so your legs are straight and you're touching your toes, great. If you can't, you can bend them a little bit and slowly come down, but you're going to have to work to feel the piriformis, the IT band, or the glute, get a stretch into it. The idea is to stretch out the hamstring area. Hamstrings go from the attachment here to the bottom of the knee. If they're loose, they're not going to pull on the IT band so much. So again, forward fold, stretch. And then there are several ways to stretch the quad. If you're lying down, easiest way is to roll over to one side, keep the knees together, and then stretch out so you can feel the front of the quad or thigh somewhat warm and stretchy. And you hold again. Sometimes you can get into what's termed bow pose, where you grab the outside and you can lift up, or you can just work on bringing the heel down to the buttock. There's two ways to do it. Classic frog. The heel comes all the way down. Try to face forward and you feel the stretch in front. Or again, you can get it so that you're just trying to get the heel to the buttock. The yoga technique is where you bring the heel to the outside, almost like a hero pose. This is hero pose, where you keep your feet spread out, you nestle in your sit bones, and you slowly make your way backwards. This is not good if you had bad knees, but usually we'll work our way down to this one and not do it cold. It can cause excessive patellar irritation or knee irritation, but the idea is the same. You want to be able to work your way down. So this is the opposite, me facing up, but it's again the same thing as far as stretching the quad. Till you either get to the point where you're comfortable or you get to the ground. Do your 5 breaths. Try to do the 5 breaths and you should be able to let the quad relax. There's a lot of tension in muscle at first, and as you let go of the anxiety that your muscle is going to pop and this is painful, it actually loosens. You slowly come back out of it. I like to work the legs a little bit because the knees, again, the kneecap is in close approximation with the femur, so it is wise to loosen up the knee joint a bit. And that's pretty much my usual suggestions for iliotibial band stretching. The foam rollers are useful. I just think they're very painful. I'd rather have you go to an acupuncturist or see me for needling. I think that's a lot less painful. And I can also hit a traditional Chinese medicine meridia to help heal you up in other ways too. Hopefully this helps.